Good evening, and welcome to the Universal Joy Center. Let us join together in consciousness as we begin this evening's gathering. There's a power and presence in the universe that's infinite, creative, and intelligent. It's all knowing, all powerful, everywhere present equally. So I know it's right here. It's right here as each one of us. It's right here as the Universal Joy Center. It is all that it is, all and all and all. And so, knowing that, I accept and know that my life is an expression of this divine presence. And knowing that frees me from limitation, expands my consciousness, and opens me up to the most remarkable, fabulous experiences. So I relax and I receive the message today with love and gratitude, knowing that this too is a remarkable day. And I accept it just as that, gratefully and humbly, and I let it be so. Together we say, and so it is. And I'd like to share our land acknowledgement. We are honored to be meeting on this land that many First Nations and Métis people from across Turtle Island call home. We acknowledge and thank the original caretakers and knowledge keepers of this territory. We also give thanks to all other Indigenous peoples, recorded and unrecorded, who have shared responsibility for this territory. Recognizing our ultimate oneness and acknowledging our reality, both past and present, we commit to moving forward in a spirit of mutual cooperation because we are one. Miigwech. Well, today I want to start by saying, hey, it's April Fool's Day. Yeah, well, our monthly theme for April is awakening into possibility. So all month we're going to be building on that idea. And tonight the talk is planting seeds of a new reality. And we're talking about something that's both simple and life-changing. The seeds we are planting in our own consciousness. Because whether we realize it or not, we're always planting. Every thought, every belief, every quiet expectation we carry is a seed. And the question is not, am I planting? The question is, what am I planting? So think about that for a moment. What are you planting moment by moment, day by day, with that, consciousness, that those things that are running around in your mind, and just, where are you at with that? Well, I'd like to share a story. We're coming into spring, so the garden is a great, great story to talk about. So I once heard it said that the mind is like a garden. A gardener never walks into their garden, throws seeds around randomly, ignores it for weeks, and then shows up expecting a beautiful harvest. Right? We could all agree with that. They understand something we sometimes forget. The harvest is not a surprise, it's a result. If you plant carrots, you don't stand there hoping for roses or, for peppers or for tomatoes, or you're not, you're going to get carrots. But in our lives, we plant thoughts of doubt, we water fear, we rehearse limitation, and then we're confused when life reflects that back to us. And it's not a punishment, it's a principle. It's a principle. So I want you to, as we talk about this tonight, I want you to really explore, those thoughts that sort of just slide in, not necessarily requested, the trauma you went through when you were 4 years old, when you got a spanking from your mom and how that affected you, or what somebody said to you. Are you reliving those moments over and over and over again? And if you are, who's done you more harm? The person who said something offhand, or you continually running it in your mind over and over and over again? Ernest Holmes reminds us that thought is creative. Not sometimes, not when we feel spiritual enough. Always, always thought is creative. So, what is it that you're thinking about? And remembering that every thought is a seed idea and every seed contains a future. Do you like the seeds that are roaming around in your consciousness, right? So we can change that because we're the ones in control of what it is that we're thinking about. So we can actually do something about this. So if we want a new reality, we don't start by trying to force a new condition. We start by planting new seeds. Planting new seeds. And this is why some of us are doing affirmations, we're doing treatments, we're meditating, we're working on shifting our consciousness so we can begin to create the life that we truly desire. So I invite you to really, over the next week or so, really pay attention to what those thoughts are. And when a negative thought or a difficult or a limiting thought or fear pops up, don't get upset about it and don't beat yourself up about it, but just go, how? Let me change that. The thing is, you can't plant apple seeds and hope for oranges. Just remember that consciousness produces after its kind. Can't do anything else. So if I'm planting, I'm not enough, nothing ever works for me, I'll try, but it probably won't happen, then life faithfully says, got it. More of that coming your way. Youch. Not because life is against you, but because life is responding to you, right? It responds to us based on where our thought process is. And so the minute we begin to change our thought process, we begin to change our reality. So I remember years ago when my boss hauled me into the office for my annual review and told me he was going to fire me if I didn't shape up. Well, by shape up, he meant change my attitude because I was pretty negative back then. And I really took him seriously, very seriously, in fact. And the last thing in the world I wanted was to get fired. So I turned around, I started doing personal development classes and all kinds of stuff like that to try and figure out how can I show up in a kinder way, a more respectful way, a more positive way. What was interesting is making those changes. It wasn't easy, not at all. But making those changes actually made it like kind of sweet for me because all of a sudden I'm talking to people I don't know, commenting on how, it's nice to see them or I love their new outfit or the great haircut or whatever. And what was happening was I was creating more relationships that were positive, productive, kind, and supportive. So when we think about this stuff, it's really important to put it in perspective and to decide what it is we really want out of life. And if we're not sure what we want, then we can treat about clarity. We can go, wow, I clearly see the path ahead of me and it's good. By taking an affirmation like that, we can begin to build something that is truly remarkable. So think about Wi-Fi for a minute. I mean, we're all using it tonight, right? You can't see it, you can't touch it, but somehow you trust it. You type something in and instantly it responds. Well, that's how consciousness works. You don't always see the seed taking root, but something is happening beneath the surface. Look outside. Our trees are barren at this point, but not for long. Soon they look like they're dead, but soon there'll be buds, then leaves, flowers. Something is happening below the surface. So growth is invisible until it isn't. So we want to, really pay attention and make sure that we can be consistent in what we're doing. Now, we're not looking for perfection. I don't really believe that actually exists. Although we are created perfect, whole, and complete, that's a little different than this perfectionism that many of us suffer from. I know I do. But, and here's where we sometimes get stuck. We think, I had one positive thought. Why isn't my life transformed? You know, you do affirmations for 2 weeks and go, how come I'm not seeing results? There isn't a single gardener in the world that plants one seed and then digs it up the next day to see if it's working. We know that. They plant, they water, they trust. Consistency is the miracle, not perfection. And I know some of us are perfectionists, and that's something that we can heal. That's something we can work with. We can sit back and go, wait a minute, let me just relax and let me look around and see, what's mine to do or what my next step is. So, what I'd like you to do right now is, if you can, just grab a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, a crayon, whatever's handy. And I just want you to journal for a couple of minutes. And I want you to ask yourself, what have I been planting today? What have I been planting today? What thoughts have I been rehearsing? And are those the seeds I actually want to grow? Think about that. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to really reflect on that. And I'm going to put the questions in the chat. So you can just look at them and think about it. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Every one of us has moments where we question life, where we question even the universe, is it working for me or against me? Just think about, what is it that I think about? What's running through my mind? And is it supporting my greatest vision? And what I'd like to do right now is take us into a meditation. And this is going to help to maybe, shift consciousness so that you can really move forward in a positive and productive way that begins to create the life that you really, really desire. So I invite you to just get comfortable, feet on the floor. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And take in a slow, gentle breath. And release. Another breath in. And let go. Feel your body settling and your mind becoming quiet. Now imagine that within you there is a rich, fertile field. This is your consciousness. Always ready, always responsive. Now gently ask yourself, what am I ready to plant? What am I ready to plant? Maybe it's peace, confidence perhaps, abundance, love, clarity. Allow a word or feeling to arise within you. Now imagine placing that seed deep into that fertile soil, the soil of your being. And as you do, silently affirm, this is now planted within me. This is planted within me. This is growing even now. I trust the unseen process of life. Feel that. No forcing, no striving, just planting and allowing. Take a breath. And another. And when you're ready, gently return. The beautiful thing is this. You don't have to figure out how the seed grows. That's not your job. Your job is to plant, to nurture, and to stop digging it up with doubt. Right? That's your job. How is the universe's job? You got to stay out of that. It's like sometimes we step over other people's toes because we're doing their job instead of ours. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let the universe work it out for you. Life already knows how to grow a seed. Trust that. Trust that. Life knows how to grow a seed. So I'm going to leave you with this. A gardener never stands over the soil shouting, grow faster. Right? You ever see anybody out in their garden doing that? I don't think so. They trust, they tend, they allow, and one day, simply out of nowhere, something breaks through the surface. And that's how life works too. I mean, just imagine, soon we're going to have little buds on our trees, and all of a sudden we're going to have leaves. It's like one day we'll wake up and there'll be buds, and all of a sudden one day we'll look and it'll be fully leafed out, and it's like, whoa, when did that happen? How did that happen? How's not our job? Any dream you have, anything you have, Einstein once said that if the idea you have is not absurd, there really is no hope for it. So those big ideas that come up in you, let them. Let them. Don't try to figure out how to do it. Just go, wow, what's that? And then spend time nurturing. That's a cool idea. I kind of like it. And be with it. So tonight, plant well, trust deeply, and let life grow something beautiful, through you. And now, Kathy. You're muted.
As we come to our time of offering, this is another form of planting. What we give, we affirm. What we circulate expands. At Universal Joy Center, your giving is not just financial. It is energetic. It says, I believe in this space. I believe in this work. I choose to be part of something that uplifts and transforms. If the center has supported you, if it has offered you insight, connection, or a sense of belonging, we invite you to give in a way that feels aligned and joyful to you. And for those who feel called, Joy Partnership is a beautiful way to plant consistently, to say yes to sustaining this space over time. No pressure, only invitation, because every gift, like every thought, is a seed, and it grows. So please repeat after me. Divine life, the source of all abundance. We recognize that all good flows from the infinite generosity of spirit. We bless these gifts given today. May they be used wisely, lovingly, and creatively to support awakening, healing, and connection. And may each giver feel the joy of knowing that in giving, they participate in the endless circulation of good. And so it is. In ways you can give, you can do an e-transfer to admin at ujoyc.ca, or you can go to our website and click donate, or you can mail a check to Universal Joy Center at We have many opportunities for you to join us at the Universal Joy Center. And our theme this month is Awakening into Possibility. Be sure to join us each week as we take this topic deeper. We have a new class starting soon called You Can Heal Your Life. And that begins on April 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Please register today if you plan on attending this. We're only taking in 10 people, and I think we've already got 5. So given the limited seating for this online program, we want to make sure you're there. All classes, events, and general information can be found on the website at ujoyc.ca. Plus, the link to our Wednesday gathering is there. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, thank you for joining us this evening. And please like, share, and subscribe. Also, join us in the Zoom room now if you would like to ask questions, meet other members, or simply enjoy some conversation. The link is in the chat. And now Barbara will give us a closing treatment.
Thank you, Kathy. So let us join together in consciousness. We have been blessed this evening with gifts of attendance and messaging and meditation and just general good feelings. And for that, I'm grateful. so grateful for tonight. I'm grateful for each person gathered here, and I'm grateful for the journey that we walk and the way that we do it. I'm grateful that life is unfolding beautifully, wonderfully, and magnificently, and that everything is happening in divine order. I trust the process. I trust the growth of the seeds I plant. And so, relaxed and at peace, filled with love and joy, I release these ideas into the law. It is done, all is well. And together we say, and so it is. All righty, well, let me